The advent of birth control probably caused third-wave feminism, and social justice, and all of the modern radical left BS we seem to be seeing today. From a biological perspective, the type of man a woman finds attractive depends on her fertility cycle. When she is more fertile, she finds more masculine men attractive. When she is less fertile, she finds less masculine provider types more attractive. Their biological drive is to conceive a child with a genetically superior man, then to find a beta to actually raise the kids. This is a very real phenomenon. It's known as alpha fucks and beta bucks. Regardless of the biology, we are still intelligent, rational creatures with control over our actions and responsibility for the choices we make. The birth control pill basically freezes a woman's fertility cycle in the infertile state. There's cases of women who date a guy while on birth control for years, then stop taking the pills and suddenly finds the man unattractive. She finds him not manly enough. The pill has given women control over when and how many children they have. Instead of 8 in their 20s, they're having maybe 1 or 2 in their 30s. We know the rates of disorders and complications go way up when women have later pregnancies. But even if the kids are healthy, you've also put all your eggs into one basket. If you have 8 kids, genetically, you haven't put all your eggs into one basket. The cold hard truth is, a few of those kids could die, but your family would remain intact. That is not the same as having an only child, and having that child die. The family lineage no longer exists. If your 8th dies, that's a tragedy, but the rest will grow up, and eventually everything will go back to normal. If you only have a few kids at the end of your fertile period, you've put all of your eggs into one basket. You can devote more resources to them. You can afford more attention to the ones you have. You have every incentive to be a helicopter parent and to overbear them. That's why you see parents who are living out their 8-year-olds' baseball careers. Parents get really into it because they can afford to do so. It's a kind of, this is my one and only chance, so I better make this kid count mentality. You end up with a snowflake generation that has tantrums and meltdowns and are constantly triggered whenever something they don't personally like has happened to them or said about them. Birth control created a culture of parents who really only had one shot to be a parent, and they invested everything in that to make it right. Now you have a generation who have been coddled, can't really grasp why things don't go their way. They view their own failings as society's personal attack towards them. Oftentimes, they turn it to various totalitarian ideologies to fill in the gaps, rather than take responsibility for their failings. Women having control over their reproduction was as big of a change for demographics as the invention of the computer was for communication. We have to ask ourselves serious questions feminists don't want asked. Biologically, what are women to men now? Before, men had at least a basic understanding of what women were. That understanding boils down to the person you have sex with and create children with. If they are not that anymore, biologically, what are they? So many species are identified by their reproductive patterns. We have radically changed that by our own technology, even changing what women are attracted to. The helicopter parent culture was the impetus that caused every major institution to value safety over individual freedom. If safety is the goal, then you have all these various oppressed groups jockeying for their own safe space, all talking about how the heteronormative capitalist patriarchy is oppressing them and needs to be done away with, and demanding other people's freedoms be curtailed in order to get the job done in the name of safety. You have to ask, where has that left us? If the radical left's view of all hierarchies are corrupt, if that's taken at face value, what is the natural result? People who have traditional aspirations are simply corrupt. Traditional women are simply gender traitors. Men are abusive patriarchs looking to take their place in the corrupt hierarchy. Telling an entire generation this message, and tailoring both the workplace and schools in the direction, ends in a generation of dissatisfied women who cannot find men who meet their standards and depressed men who don't know what to do with their lives. I've already discussed the soaring rates of deaths of despair among men, and I've covered an entire video called The Crisis of Meaning about this. But what I haven't mentioned is how the sexual revolution has left women unhappy at record numbers. By many objective measures, the lives of women in the US have improved over the past 35 years. Yet we show that measures of subjective well-being indicate that women's happiness has declined, both absolutely and relative to men. Relative declines in female happiness have eroded a gender gap in happiness, in which women in the 70s typically reported higher subjective well-being than men. These declines have continued, and a new gender gap is emerging, one with higher subjective well-being for men. What on earth during that time could be responsible for that? Could it be the birth control pill and the resulting sexual revolution? Feminism took women out of secure, supportive homes where they generally tended to be happy, and put them on the fast track to the professional middle. It created a wide gulf between men and women that has ironically also gutted a lot of men's chivalrous tendencies. No feminist will complain when a woman takes on one of those corrupt patriarchal roles. A woman CEO or a Captain Marvel is empowering. It seems completely fine for a woman to become a patriarch herself. It's good for a woman to do it, but not a man. It's inherently contradictory philosophy. There's a term for that. Doublethink. Orwell defines doublethink as the act of holding simultaneously two opposite individually exclusive ideas, and believing in both simultaneously. It severs the links between cause and effect, and that forms the basis for conscious choice and hence moral action. Relative judgments cannot be made this way. This is how truth becomes whatever the cultural ideology tells us is true. It's not meant to be understood. It's only meant to destroy. The left is somewhat right about hierarchies. They can become incredibly corrupt if society does not keep a watchful eye on it. The solution of destroying the hierarchy only makes things worse. People are meant to take their place in a non-corrupt hierarchy. When you destroy the hierarchy, you destroy aspiration itself. If there is no way to judge which possible future you is better, how could you possibly move into the future? We have not properly adapted to this invention. We've been using old rules for a fundamentally new game. Part of the culture shift has come about because of what birth control did to our reproduction, and what the change in reproduction did to our society. For a while now, there has been a sentiment that in the coming years, women will be replaced. Porn, hentai, anime cam girls, sex robots, traps, femboys, and transsexuals all on some level replace women, even gay men. Every time men have found an alternative sexual release, women have fought against it, even if it involved other women. It's also used against women of different races, like when a white guy gets with an Asian girl. White women will imply he's only with her because she's submissive and can't handle an empowered woman. Or for trans women, the guy is a weird creep with a fetish. Something that is seldom spoke about is the exploitation of lonely men by women online looking to make money. Some women have realized they can make money by selling pictures of their bodies online, and they've capitalized off of that. In a society where many men struggle to get dates, OnlyFans and other similar services only add fuel to the fire. As these women thrive on men's failures, they routinely mock the very people that give them money.
As time goes on, more and more stories keep coming out about these random Twitch thoughts, and how things have gone from a more innocent exploitation, if there could ever be such a thing, to downright theft. Here's a clip from a streamer, aptly named Boobles. As you can see, the top donator right now is a person named Disrupted Order, who has donated nearly $12,000 to her.
This is a top donator, by the way. This is not my fucking friend. This is not my fucking boyfriend. This is the guy that donates to my fucking stream and thinks that he's entitled to shit.
That sounds pretty crazy. This dude sounds like he's really creeping on her. But remember when she skipped over a whole bunch of those private messages? Maybe we should read them for ourselves. Boobles. So hypothetically speaking, if I were to borrow more money from you, how much could you give me? My mom said you could have to wait like a week. Disrupted Order. I mean, you haven't even paid me back from the first time yet, and I really need to get a car. I sold my truck, so all I have is a company vehicle, which they don't let me driving outside of work. Boobles. Yeah, but I'm on the cusp of paying you back, just need to wait like a week. As I said before, you can say no. Disrupted Order. Are you going to have enough to pay me back plus whatever you borrow now? Boobles says, yep, because my mom is giving me money soon. I just need quite a bit, which is the sad part. Disrupted Order. Yeah, I don't have quite a bit. I had to pull out of my savings to help you last time. Why does the San Diego plan sound scary? Boobles. Well, if you want to give me what you can, I'll make sure I pay it all back. And because it's a big leap. Never done that before. Disrupted Order. I understand that, but sometimes the biggest leaps and risks have the biggest reward. What kind of money are you looking at? What do you need it for? Boobles. $300 and for groceries and house stuff on my internet bill. Yeah, I just don't see myself taking a big leap. It's just kind of scary. Disrupted Order says, I know I'm a bit biased, but I think I'm the right kind of guy to be taking a leap for. So I gave you $300 today. You give me $2,300 when you get paid on the 13th, 14th, 15th? Boobles. Yes, one of those days I should be getting my Twitch check. Disrupted Order. You promise. As soon as you get it, I get paid back in full. Boobles says, yes. Disrupted Order says, deal. Putting it in your account now. Boobles replies, you're the best, hun. Now at this point, this seems like a loan, not a Twitch donation. However, they also talk about a San Diego plan, which actually sounds like some kind of real life stuff. And even in these DMs, it seems like maybe Disrupted Order has the wrong idea. Maybe he's pushing something he shouldn't be pushing. I don't know. Of course, he also released all of their private texts together. And I'm not going to go over them because there's literally 20 pages of text. That's going to take way too long. I'll put the link in the description of the video if you want to go see them yourself. However, I will point out a few important things. Just for context, the person on the left in red is Boobles the streamer. The person on the right in blue is Disrupted Order, the donator. Get what you can. Give me a reason why I should. Because we love each other, and I need your help. How old am I? I don't know, like 32? You love my heart. You love that I have gone above and beyond what any sane person would do, but you don't know me. You don't know what my goals are and what I want. Yeah, but I know what your goals are with me. What's that? You want us to be together, and you want to take care of me so I can stream and do fun stuff, and you be there with me through it all and just live life. Tell me what I have to do to get you to help me. All I ever asked of you was to be honest with me and don't lie. Don't fuck around with other guys and put effort into figuring out what this is. I have no one else. You haven't done that. I want to be with you, and I'm sorry. Bullshit. If you wanted me, you would already have me. It's really strange looking over these DMs, man. Like, this girl faked a relationship with this guy. And yet, looking at it objectively, you can always see the conversation come back around to money. Come back around to what she can get out of him. Actually leading him on. Promising to move in, but then not actually doing it or having some kind of excuse. Having wild stories about her parents, about being stalked, about being attacked, about trips to the hospital. It's insane. This person is a sociopath.
This is a top donator, by the way. This is not my fucking friend. This is not my fucking boyfriend. This is the guy that donates to my fucking stream and thinks that he's entitled to shit.
That is how these women view their fans. They view them as resources to exploit. Here's another one, though this one isn't quite so dramatic. I wish there was a way to mass block people who follow you but don't interact with your tweets. I've gained over 4,000 followers since last week, and my engagement hasn't gone up at all, lol. And of course, the clever chaps over at Super Nerdland reply with, no worries, we'll unfollow. Sorry people, following you are only worth it for engagement. Peace. And check out this reply from some other e-girl. Incels everywhere. Like I said, they view you as a resource, and if you refuse to be tapped like one, you're an incel. You know, 5 or 10 years ago, the insult wasn't incel, it was MRA. 20 years ago, it was virgin. But at the end of the day, it's all the same thing. If you're a man who doesn't recognize your place as being useful to women, well, then you're problematic, I guess. I think the worst part of all is when people like this begin to demand your money.
How did my whole speech about how I need subs to keep the stream going if you like the content, blah, 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 how that results in 0 subs? There are regulars here. $5 a month! How do you have hours of time to watch me and not $5? I don't know, what are you doing with your life where you have hours of time to watch Twitch and not $5 to provide for the content that you're watching?
There's no obligation to give you money. If you're not making any donations or subs or whatever, then that means one of two things. Assuming that you're actually capable of doing so, because sometimes there's like a viewer threshold, like on Twitch you have to hit affiliate first. But assuming that you're there, there's 2 reasons as to why. Either 1, your chat room can't afford it, which is possible. Or 2, you're just not worth it. And yes, Twitch thoughts are finally realizing that a lot of them just aren't worth it. This isn't the first time she's done this either.
Chat, I haven't got a donation or sub for an hour. What the fuck? For an hour? What the fuck? An hour when I fucking working for free? What the fuck?
I've streamed for an hour without getting a donation. There's some Twitch streams that I do and I don't get any donations for the entire stream. That's fine. I'm there to be a professional and put on a show. Now I know that there's technical difficulties and sometimes I'm late and I'm really bad at the games and sometimes I say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. I make mistakes all the time. So I don't know really how professional you can call me. But I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't start shrieking at my own chat and demanding that they pay me. This is the height of shallow. The funniest thing is, I noticed that in the background of those clips, the left was mentioned a few times, so I decided to look her up. She escaped the alt-right pipeline, and now she talks about it. And there's the pronouns in the bio, there's the rose in the name. I'm not surprised she is a radical leftist with an attitude like that. And of course, we have the one that just happened. And to be honest, this person seems to be the most stuck up of the lot.
It doesn't really matter how much money you make or how much money you have. That's really the thing, because I'm not asking you for a large financial contribution. If it costs $20 to sub, $20 is quite a bit of money. $20 is you can get a full meal for $20, and the difference of $20 and eating a meal is in that $20. Like, that's where it is. But a sub is $5. At maximum, in whatever your currency is, it's maybe $10. And it doesn't matter how broke you are. If you have time to watch Twitch, you have $10, truly. If you don't have $10, you probably don't have time to watch Twitch because you should be working. You should be trying to earn money. It's not a ton. It's not like a ton of money.
Oh my fucking god, listen to this bitch. It's not a ton of money, it's a tiny contribution. Well, then you don't need it, do you? $5, $10 is not a ton of money. You'll be fine without it, just like I'll be fine without it. Why should I give it to you? Like, she said this during the coronavirus pandemic. Oh, you can't afford to sub to my Twitch? Go get a job. During the pandemic. Fuck you. Jesus Christ.
So being like, I'm broke, I can't afford to sub, that doesn't really track. What you mean to say is, I'm so irresponsible with my money, I can't support the entertainment that I enjoy.
Look at that smug fucking smile that she puts on after she says that. That doesn't really track. Oh my god. This bougie should have been aborted piece of shit. I can't believe it. Alright, here's the second half of it, second video.
Is, I'm so irresponsible with my money, I can't support the entertainment that I enjoy.
Jesus. At least she has to convince herself that what she's saying is actually correct. Like, yes, I am right. Give me all of your money now.
If I want to go see a movie but I can't afford to pay for the ticket, I mean, you can just download it. You don't have to sub, you can just watch it without supporting it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And listen to the contempt she has for people who don't sub. Yeah, fuck you, dude. You're not worth subbing to.
I'm unemployed, so basically all my money goes to bills and food, or I would support you. Yeah. It's $5. It's really, like, no one's gonna convince me that what I'm saying is so rude, or so unacceptable, or so outrageous.
Oh my god, the guy confronts her with the fact that he's unemployed and living like dollar to dollar. And she's still like, yeah, no, give it to me. Oh, Jesus. Jesus Christ. This is like Elizabeth Warren taking people's last few bucks when she knows her campaign is already over. Now, this specific event went really viral, presumably because it's happening during a pandemic, and it seems to be probably the most tone-deaf thing you could ever actually say on the platform. So Invader V actually issued an apology. And you'll notice just by the look of the apology, you can tell that she's kind of understood that a lot of the problem was that she was... Here, let me just go back and show you. See, in the old video, she looks almost otherworldly, and I'm sure she's putting that on. That's part of the appeal. But she's sitting there in her blanket fort, surrounded by a whole bunch of plushies, sitting on a giant, really comfortable chair, wearing those thigh highs, basically trying to look as attractive as she can make herself, and she does look quite attractive, but looking like almost as much of a casual princess as she can muster. But in this apology video, even before I press play on it, you can kind of tell. She's definitely trying to make herself look a bit more normal and down to earth. She's still attractive, obviously, but now she's like in a t-shirt and in just like kind of regular clothes, the regular hairstyle, and she's just very much like a, listen guys, I'm actually not this posh, bougie fuckwad. I am just like you. She's definitely playing the optics game. As far as internet apologies go, that one's actually not that bad. It sounds like she gets why that's wrong. It sounds like she gets why she drew as much heat as she did. She does actually say, listen, I don't actually believe this, even though I said it, so you have to ask why you said it, but nonetheless. And she does say that, yeah, I know I said it, but I don't believe it, I don't feel that way. There's no context in which this is true. I have no good excuse for it, and I'm sorry. And that's better than a lot of internet apologies go, because there's definitely a lot of those non-apologies that you hear sometimes from people, where it turns out that like, they're like, oh, I'm sorry it happened. It's like, well, you mean it happened, you did it. Or it's like, I'm sorry you're offended by it. It's like, what do you mean you're sorry I'm offended? You did something that's objectively wrong beyond just mere offense. That's just pushing it off to somebody else. No, none of that happened here. She took complete responsibility. Basically said like, it sounded like it was a one-time thing, that was in the heat of the moment, that was happening during a specific discussion. Maybe she didn't choose her words all that well. Whatever the case may be, it's not how she actually feels, and she simply just happened to say it that one time and didn't really mean it. Okay. I would actually be inclined to believe that if I didn't just so happen to find this other clip from her stream very clearly on a different day, because there's a different outfit, a different hairstyle, the locations of the various plushes on the set have been moved, so very clearly this is a different day, and here she is saying the exact same thing.
She just made a comment that if you don't make enough money to sub, you should be working and not watching Twitch. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Go make me more money, pay pig. Your apology was fake. You gave it because you got caught. You have been saying this for a while.
If you can't afford $5, but you have ample time to watch Twitch, I think you need to reevaluate your financial priorities.
You know, if you're working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, just to pay off all those crazy loans that you have or to pay for your family or whatever, we're just trying to get by during these pandemic times, and you can't afford to give me $5, well, you still got 6 hours left in that day. Go get a third job.
It's just advice. It's just how I've dealt with my money.
I can see, based on what the fuck you're doing right now, how you deal with your money. I think I have a pretty good idea of where it all goes.
Very, very few streamers who are going to be like, you're dead broke and you're unemployed and that suits me just fine. Watch my channel for free as much as you want.
I'm one of them. If you're dead broke and unemployed and you want to come and watch my channel for free as much as you want, go ahead. There, I've put the link on the screen 10 times. Go ahead. I don't care. I'm happy to have viewers, man. Like, does she think that she speaks for all streamers? Does she think that everyone is just as rotten and corrupted and entitled as she is? There are people in my chat who never donate and never will, and I'm okay with that. It's fine. Obviously, I do like getting donations because it's how I pay my bills, but the idea is that there's no requirement. Like, it's something that you have to earn. You know, I don't know if she understands this just by looking at it, but you have to earn your way through life. You have to earn the money that you make. Twitch is not a job where you just hit up the punch clock and then get paid even if you don't even do anything because your union protects you or something. You actually have to work. You have to be worth it. And if this is the product you're presenting, with your looks, with your wardrobe, with your location, and your quality of commentary, and you're still not getting that much money, then there's no way that you are worth it.
Most people who stream ask for subs. Actually, every single streamer asks for subs. All of them do.
Yeah, ask, not demand. Not run guilt trips on people. Not shame them because they can't afford it, for fuck's sake.
Literally all of them do. But it's okay. A group of very pathetic little boys love to shame specifically women for this. So thank you for identifying yourselves. It's nice to see your little naked bottoms.
And yes, she actually goes there. At the end of the day, that is their defense. When these women are shrieking about not getting enough money from men, and men have reasonable, justifiable objections to that, they're insulted. They're man babies, they're man children, they're neckbeards, they're incels, they're virgins, whatever, doesn't matter. To these women, men exist to give them money, and that's it. I do not believe her apology was genuine whatsoever. I think she gave the apology because she saw the gravy train coming to an end, and she wanted to keep it going.
And you're gonna get on your knees and you're gonna hand me the money, okay? Good. Okay, now you took your card already? Yeah, you did. On your knees. Kiss my feet. Say Goddess Via owns me.
Goddess Via owns me.
Okay, that's enough. Hand it to me. Good, it's mine. You took your card. Now have more for me Friday, okay?
Yes, Goddess.
I will see you then. One more. Fine. No, not my sock. Okay, that's enough. Put it back on. Fix it. Okay, good.
You want to step on?
Get down. I'm gonna walk over you. Lay down. Okay, goodbye.
What do we have here?
If you haven't heard of Project Melody, you should at least be aware. Essentially, it's a 3D explicit animation that uses motion capture technology. Real cam girls are upset because Project Melody broke the viewership records on Chatterbait. An anime avatar is dominating the live e-prostitution scene. I wholly understand the mentality behind why people pay for e-prostitutes, when free porn is everywhere on the internet. It's about the interaction and the connection. Based on the accounts online, the actor behind Project Melody seems to put on a good show for her audience, and is very appreciative, something many women on the site lack. They feel entitled to views, and to their viewers' money, just because they expose their holes. Ultimately, what I'm describing is an artificial human connection. Still human connection, in that the human feels included in the moment. Still artificial, in that the user feels even more lonely after the deed is done. It is still far more attractive than a woman on Chatterbait who will show you the inside of her butthole if you tip her $5. Project Melody is regularly non-sexual and interesting. When regularly cam prostitutes offer titulation, she offers both titulation and a pretense of companionship. Is it any wonder why she is more popular? Society has utter contempt for the men that choose not to deal with real women and receive sexual gratification and sometimes a pseudo-companionship through other means. They are labeled as hateful, misogynist incels. The radical left has talked about replacement anxiety among white populations in Europe and North America. They say it's white fragility if people don't want millions of non-white immigrants coming in and gradually over time supplanting the local culture. I have to partially agree. I don't care what your color is as long as Western culture doesn't get supplanted. Some of the worry is real, however. The incoming culture is antithetical to ours and refuses to integrate. If women are worried men are being allowed sexual outlets that are not them and would weaken their hold on men, what would you call that? Female fragility? Remember, much of a woman's power lies in her ability to manipulate the men in her life. If you can properly do this as a woman, you can get or do anything. If there is power to be gained over men, it is in the feminists' best interest to advocate for that, even if it means maintaining the so-called patriarchy. Sex robots and these other non-traditional forms of sexual gratification are a problem, not because of what it does to women, but because what it offers to men. The only way any of this makes sense is if the goal of feminists is not the emancipation of women, but also the suppression and the control of men. If women are free and separate from men, then men are also free and separate from women. Considering how much focus feminists have on male sexuality, it's clear male freedom is not their goal. Men routinely compete for attention of women, but so too do women compete for the attention of men. In a functional relationship, this dynamic becomes a game both parties enjoy. Fundamentally, men offer work for sex, and women offer sex for work. Incels see this as the ultimate black pill. Ha! See, she doesn't love you. But do you think you should be getting sex for nothing? People who are in love consent to arrangements where they dangle carrots on sticks in front of each other in an effort to make each other better people. Yes, men have to offer something, but women have to offer something too. Sex is not enough, especially with the overwhelming access to sex nowadays, artificial and real. Offering sex has never been enough. You must offer meaningful, positive companionship that simply isn't in the personality of many modern women these days.
Alright, word. What's your name? Where you from?
I'm Bianca. I'm from Florida.
Okay, Bianca from Florida. In a relationship, what do you bring to the table? Don't say sex and don't say the table. You have it there, folks.
I don't do it.
I see movement. Run, get to the room.